Hello, my name is Adrian Torbenson, and today I want to share a story with you about my life and what I've overcome after getting hit by a truck. My story starts on December 7th, 2001, when I was 11 years old and in 6th grade. I was walking home from a school dance in Winona, Minnesota, when a drunk and drug driver hit me while I was crossing Highway 61 in Winona, Minnesota. After I was hit, I suffered a shattered lower right leg. The bone came three-fourths of the way out of the skin and was almost amputated, but now it's just heavily scarred and deformed. I broke my upper left leg, dislocated my right shoulder, cracked me open in 5 different spots, and suffered a traumatic brain injury which erased virtually all of my memory besides a 1 or 2 second out-of-body experience that I remember. When doctors found me, they pronounced me dead on the scene for roughly about 3 hours, and said there was no way that I could come back with anything. But later was put into a coma for about 2 weeks, and doctors told my family that I would never wake up again, and if I did, I would be a vegetable or couldn't do anything. When I did wake up, though, I knew absolutely nothing. Not even my name, not even how to speak, not even my family. It was basically like being reborn again. So, when I did wake up, I screamed at the top of my lungs as doctors came running in and explained everything, but I was in disbelief until I looked down at my legs and saw a metal pin sticking out of my legs, as doctors repeatedly told me I could never walk again. For roughly about 3 months, I was relearning everything over again, from my ABCs to 1, 2, 3s to learning family over again, as during that 3-month period, I was repeatedly told that I could never walk again and I shouldn't even try because my legs were so damaged. But about a month and a half into therapy, when I was in muscle therapy for my arms, I just randomly stood up and was shocked that I could stand. So I decided to try to take a very small step, and I did, and later used a walker until about 8th grade. When I got home to Winona, Minnesota, all the friends and most of my family that I had all left me because I was so different, and I still had 1 pin in my right leg. And I developed depression and suicidal thoughts and actions, which stuck with me for most of my life. And as time went on with my learning disability, memory problems, and rage, it was very, very, very tough for me to fit in. Very tough for really anybody to understand or like me. And as time went on, I just kept attempting suicide, whether it was cutting or overdosing. And I didn't know what to do with my life. And in 8th grade, I was able to lose my walker, but still had the pin in my right leg. And later, basically at the end of the school year, I got my right pin taken out. And as I got into high school, that was one of my deepest and darkest times of my life, but the start of who I am today. And as high school went on, I was teased more. I actually had some people beat me up just because they thought I was weak. And some relationships didn't go well, and I went to the hospital for suicide about 3 times. And in 11th grade, I was in the hospital that whole year because of a suicide attempt that I cut my left arm on, and it was too deep. As I got into 12th grade, I was like, you know what? Since I can't fit in, since nobody likes me, since nobody wants to hang around me, why not just be myself? And I was like, that actually does sound really good, because, like, people are always going to judge me, and I want to do things that other people don't. That may look weird, but hey, I don't have any friends, why not? So one day, one of my teachers, Mrs. Hill, she was playing some techno music, and I really liked it. And nobody was dancing. I'm like, huh? So my mind said, go up there and dance. But my body said, no, no, no. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna. Heck, if I want to be different, nobody's dancing, I'm gonna dance if I want to. And I went up to the middle of the concourse bowed my head down, felt the beat, took a deep breath in, and started dancing. And it was a lot of fun, even though I have no dance skills. I just like to bounce. And I did that for the whole year. People definitely made fun of me and all that, but hey, I was having fun. I was being myself. But because that only happened once or twice a week, either on Fridays or special occasions, I was like, I need to do something else to be different. And I don't like just walking around because that's what I used to do all the time. So, after watching a movie of Jackass, I saw this free hugs thing, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that. So, in 12th grade, I made a sign that said free hugs. Don't know if you can see that. And I stood at the door and when I was in high school saying free hugs and all that, and gave a lot of free hugs. And I did that whenever music wasn't playing, and a lot of teachers got mad, but I just kept doing it because it was benefiting a lot of people, and I love giving hugs. And as time went on, about December 7th, 2007, I still could never talk about it because it just hurt so much, and I didn't know what to do because it just hurt so much, and those days were the worst for me. And then that day in school, when I went to Mrs. Hill's class, she actually asked me to speak about my accident. At that time, I was like, what? And to be honest, at that time, I was getting a 4.0, but I was scared that if I didn't speak about it, that I would fail. So I went up there and spoke about my life at that time, and began crying because it hurt so much. And Mrs. Hill understood and got through most of the speaking and the depression I was facing and all that, and how many times I cut myself a day. And I went back down, and that whole day was just really bad. But the next day, I woke up and was like, you know what? I can actually talk about this. I actually inspired some people in my class. It felt so good. And from that day on, I continued speaking. And as high school kept going on, I always had the dream of going to college, but every doctor, every teacher, even family members told me I could never do it because of my brain injury and learning disability. And Mrs. Hill said, you're going to go to college. I believe in you, Adrian. And I was like, yeah. But the next week, a scholarship came over the intercom. It was above and beyond scholarship, and no one applied for it. It needed to be done by that day, by 3 o'clock. And Mrs. Hill said, go get that scholarship, Adrian. So I went down and applied for it and handed it in before 3, and I won it. And I originally wanted to go to college for massage therapy because at that time I really liked massaging, and people said I was good at it, so I wanted to go for it. As I enrolled into Minnesota State College Southeast Technical, it was definitely a really big difference compared to what I was learning, but I liked it. And at that time I was living in another group home, REM, and I was on over 32 medications, and I admit I did keep attempting suicide and all that, and it was just hard because my depression just kept getting worse and worse and worse as I was put on even more meds. And I went to the adult hospital for some suicide attempts and missed out on some college, but they understood. And one day I was like, you know what? I'm sick of this life. I am sick of everything I have to do. And on the television I read about an online killer, someone meeting someone online and killed them. And an idea popped in my head, like, maybe that can happen to me because I was so depressed and knew I couldn't kill myself. And so I went online and looked for, I guess, people thought profile pictures in hope to find a killer, to be honest. And I emailed everybody without profile pictures, and I got a reply back from one person. And we went on a date, found out that it was a real girl. She was really nice, and I kind of liked her. And we went on a second date on December 6th, 2011, and we kissed that night. And no relationship has ever worked out for me because of my depression and suicide. And that night when I was at home, I began to cry so hard, knowing that this relationship would not work out, and she didn't need someone like me. But I kissed her and I liked her. And that night around 9:35, if I can recall correctly, I was writing a poem of how it would not work because I used poetry to cope and to express my feelings since I really had no one to talk to. And I was writing about how this relationship would never work out because of all my disabilities and depression and all that. But in the middle of the poem, I stopped and said, "No, Adrian, you are going to make this relationship work. You are going to love this girl truly. You are going to give her all that you can. You are going to make her happy. And you have to change, Adrian." And kind of said some other strong words to get myself. So in another poem, I started writing why I was so hurt, why I was so depressed. And I saw that I was holding on to the past of everybody who hurt me, everybody who made fun of me, everybody who did something bad to me, including doctors. And I was crying even more. Tears were just raining down my face. And I said I needed to forgive. And usually when I tried to forgive, basically like saying, "I forgive you," I'll just make up a name, Tony the Tiger, for what you did, that really did not help at all. So instead I made kind of a three-list thing. First, their name or how I remember them. Like sometimes if I don't remember the name, I like put like their clothes or how I remember them, and then what they did to me on the line next to it, and then how it made me feel. And I forgave them in that three-step process. And I'll give an example, which I kind of use a lot, to be honest, with real names and all that. But here's an example. I am selecting Tony the Tiger from Frosted Flakes. But it went something like this, and I had this all written out with the real people and real emotions and all that, but it went something like this. "I forgive you, Tony the Tiger, for eating my Frosted Flakes on that Monday morning. I really wanted Frosted Flakes, and I was kind of craving it, and I did not want to eat Mom's porridge because I really do not like it. And I forgive you, Tony the Tiger, for eating my Frosted Flakes when I wanted them that day. I forgive you for making me eat Mom's porridge when I didn't want to. And I forgive you, Tony the Tiger. You no longer hurt me. You are no longer part of my life. And I forgive you." And did that with actual real people and real emotions, and went on the whole list of like 3 pages. And I didn't feel any different. But I looked deeper and saw that it was myself who hurt myself the most. And I forgave myself and said, "I forgive you, Adrian Torbenson, for all the suicide attempts, all the emotional abuse, all the beatings I did upon myself. I forgive myself for every bad thing I've ever done to myself. I forgive myself for every moment of locking myself in the bathroom and just pounding my head on the glass wall. I forgive myself, and I no longer want to hurt myself. I no longer want to do negative things to myself, and I forgive myself, and I actually love myself for once." And I did some other things like that. And then once that happened, life totally changed. I eventually got off all of the 32 medications besides one acid reflux pill, and life went on. About 2 weeks of dating her, I told her my dream was always being a published poet, but never having publishers like me or anything, and there was an award-winning published poet at my school, and I wanted to go to him, but knew that there'd be absolutely no time he'd have for me. But Kelly said, "What's stopping you?" As I realized, what is stopping me? And I realized it's myself again. I was stopping myself. And the next school day that I had, I actually went up to him and asked for publishers, and he was more than happy to give me some publishers of actual publishing companies and self-publishing companies. And I went with the self-publishing, and about a month later, out of all like maybe 900 of my written books on paper, I published my first book, Love, Pain, Life. This was published by Lulu.com, and I kind of regret publishing with them just because of how much it cost and the low quality of their services and all that. But I was happy to finally publish a book. That was a lifelong dream that I had, and I did it in like less than a month. And I felt so good. And I played guitar, and I was like, you know what? I have a couple of original songs. You know what? If I can publish a book, I can find a studio to record music in. And I found a studio that was actually relatively close to me, within walking distance of where I used to live back then. And he allowed me to record music at his place, and I paid for 20 songs, but I made 2 CDs, one acoustic, which was 12 songs, and one just, I guess, metal rap, or metal comedy rap, as me and my brother like to call it, just because I was only able to fit 12 tracks on my CD Just Can't Move On. And this was professionally recorded in Winona, Minnesota at Distorted Music Productions and published with CD Baby. And it felt good to finally have a CD out and all that people could stream, people could find on Spotify, people could buy online, or even find in some stores. And it felt amazing. And then the second album was just brought my brother in, and we recorded White Boys in Suits. I do not recommend looking them up because we're very random and we swear a lot. But after that, I was like, you know what? I was very, very, very unhappy with Lulu.com. I'm going to try the next one. And I'm like, I'm going to try CreateSpace.com. And like, yeah, it looks pretty good, but I don't know if it'll have the same restrictions as Lulu, but because with Lulu you had to pay to actually put it in actual regular size book format, you had to be a graphic designer and all that, but I went with CreateSpace and published my second book, Falling Ashes, which can actually be bought in smaller bookstores or even ebook or Nook, I think it's called. And that felt amazing because I got that done in really no time, and I didn't have to be like a graphic designer. I did everything I needed, and excellent distribution, unlike Lulu.com, for only $25. And that felt amazing. And as time went on, it was getting kind of closer where I had to keep repeating pre-algebra in college because I wasn't very good with math, and still am not, but I kept repeating pre-algebra and just knowing I can never do it. And then one time, my advisor, Steve Rudnick, he came up to me and said, Adrian, this is your last chance to pass math, or else you have to repeat every single networking class that you've already taken. And it clicked. What is stopping me from math? What is stopping me from getting this network degree that I switched to? And I realized, even with the tutors that we had at the college, they weren't getting it like simple enough for me to understand. They were just confusing me more. And I decided I gotta find an actual tutor who can help me. And while that was going on, my girlfriend at that time, Kelly, and I got married on June 29th, 2013, and we've been married since. And as time went on, as I said, I kept failing math. Then when I got that specialized tutor who helped me actually understand it in basic form, I was able to graduate with a networking degree from Southeast Technical College on May 14th, 2014. And that felt super good. And because of learning what I did there, I learned that there is such thing as ethical hacking, or hacking for the good, since media and all that has that totally mixed up between hacking and cracking. I'll explain that a little bit here. There's 3 types of hacking in their hats. There's white hat hacking, which is a good guy, which I want to do. There is gray hat, which is good and evil, or for destruction. And then there's the black hats, which the media refers to as hackers, when they're actually called crackers, who actually hack for the bad and to destroy things and steal information. And once I learned that that was actually legal and the FBI was looking for white hats like I want to be, I was like, you know what? After I graduate college, I'm going to try to find some way to either get certified or even get a license and eventually work for the FBI. And I was looking around, everything was just way too expensive though. And while actively looking and still applying for jobs and all that, I was like, you know what, I want to write a different book because I've been so happy with CreateSpace. Let's do a different book, but this time, let's do it completely freestyle. Or, what I mean by freestyle is nothing pre-written, just go on my computer and type. And I published my 3rd book with CreateSpace, and you can like stream this with Nook or whatnot. That book is completely freestyle, besides one poem, which is the title, Behind the Glass. The poem Behind the Glass always made me cry when I read it, so I just put it in. And as time went on, I was off of the 32 medications for so long that one of my doctors put me on a medication that I personally said I didn't want to because of the rare side effects. And she really did not believe it would happen to me when I'm more vulnerable to the rarest, to basically unknown or almost unheard of side effects of a lot of medication, to be honest. And earlier this year, on January 19th, I woke up unable to get my hand out of this position, and I went to the ER because I woke up unable to even open it, and I was scared to death. I didn't know what happened, and I went to the ER. They took an x-ray and said, yeah, because of that just one little pill you took, that pill destroyed all of the muscle in your left hand, Adrian. You're going to have to get it amputated. And right there, I was just in so much fear. I'm like, oh no, I don't want to get my hand amputated. And as I kept talking and said, do you want to go get it amputated today? And I said, yeah, you know what? No. I'm actually going to seek out a muscle specialist to try to help me gain strength back. And the ER actually respected that, so that made me happy. And after some training and all that, I'm able to actually use this hand for basic to advanced tasks, and I can play guitar again. I can do video games and all that stuff again. So I was very happy about that. Sometimes I still have to wear a hand brace, but my hand is getting better every single day. And as time went on, I heard of this website called Udemy that offers some free and some paid training, and they had the course that I actually wanted for ethical hacking, and I took that with the basic knowledge of Kali Linux, the hacking operating system, and I was able to get certified on March 10th, 2016, and that felt amazing because I got like all of my dreams completed, but the certificate doesn't get me to where I want to be with like the FBI and all that. So in about sometime in the future, on the June 20, I believe it's 2nd, 2016. For 5 days, I'll actually take the training to get licensed as an ethical hacker and take an exam to see if I pass and can get a license and work for the FBI, because, as I know, for me, nothing is impossible, and I want other people who have TBIs, who are having trouble completing their dreams because of other obstacles, that don't let other people take away your dreams. I mean, that's easier said than done, but just look at your surroundings. Look how far you've come. People may not see you as going far, but they have not been in your shoes. We are survivors. We are strong, and I believe in each and every one of you who are even stronger survivors than me. You may have a TBI and other maybe physical limitations, but you are the strong, you are the powerful, and you can achieve any single dream. And if you need links to anything, I will definitely give you those, and if you need advice, definitely know that there's definitely support out there, and there's other people who will be able to understand you. I don't want anybody to feel alone like I did, and not be able to feel they can accomplish any dreams, because any dream is possible. We just have to take different trails or roads to accomplish them. But please, just know, you all are so strong, and each and every one of you that I hear the stories of inspire me and try to make me become stronger, because compared to any of you, I'm nothing compared to all of you who are on the daily struggles and all that. But just know, even with the TBI, we are survivors, and we are strong. I hope you all have a great day, and if any questions, contact me. Have a great day. Bye-bye.